Greetings and salutations, guys. Welcome back to the Under Budget AV Club. It's your main man, JV. You know, jump out usual guy.
KONG, sticky, sweet, intoxicating, delicious should be out everywhere for a little bit of shameless self promo.
Nice, never shameless to make the money.
You know, niggas gotta eat, niggas gotta pay bills. You feel me?
Hey, so you see me.
Niggas
You got an upgrade. It's tax season. You got a little bit of an upgrade.
Niggas gotta sell these lollipops, you feel me?
You know what I mean? You just gotta get it out the mud, to be quite honest.
Hey, motherfucking man.
So today we actually went to go see X, the new A24 joint. So it's A24, right?
Yeah. Not only is it A24, it's I'd have to fact check the particular title, but I know that Sam Levinson, who is the executive producer, one of the executive producers along with Zendaya, of Euphoria, which is also an A24 property, which you haven't seen yet, and I still think you really should.
I have not seen it, and I really need to.
I'm lucky.
I really need to. People keep suggesting it to me, but like I'm so out of like whack as far as suggestions. Like I have a whole Indian slate of movies. Yeah, one of my coworkers actually recommended me a bunch of Indian stuff. Really, really deep stuff too. It wasn't like some action stuff, but also some like more deep societal stuff. I'm also like while we were talking, I'm checking out the cast for this actually. The people that are in this. I mean, I get the director is T.I. West.
Oh, okay. So back to context. We saw X today.
Yes, we did see X.
We saw X today, which is an A24 property.
Yeah.
Sam Levinson, directed by I think it's either T.I. West or T West or something like that.
It's T West.
T West.
Yeah, it's
okay.
T. I think I want to say it's T West.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think T.I.
It's not Tip Harris. I know that.
I didn't think Tip it is.
It's not Tip King of the South. I know that.
It does have Kid Cudi in there. So we are represented.
So do we want to jump? You mentioned Kid Cudi. Do we want to jump right into this?
We can definitely jump into this because this movie was super interesting. We saw this with
Delta 9, and we saw this with Alpaca Green.
Yes.
So it was with Delta 9 and Alpaca Green.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, they couldn't be here because Muggs is tired and Muggs got stuff to do. But it was.
Feed your family.
It was interesting. So for this, we're clearly just gonna talk about like what we liked about it, like what we didn't like about it, base level, and then we're getting to more spoilery shit.
Right.
So for this first part, don't worry about spoiling the movie. Cause I know this movie is still relatively recent, and just like a lot of A24 films, it's kind of hard to. It's a little bit easier to find than fucking everything always on.
Everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
Which apparently is out, and I still haven't seen it.
I can't find it nowhere.
Yeah.
If someone can find that, you don't know where we're at, but if you can find that just anywhere around the United States, let us know.
Comment, like, because we really want to see that movie.
Yes.
I'm a huge Daniels fan.
All the A24 stuff. But speaking of which, this movie in particular had a lot of good trailers for movies coming up. There are a lot of good A24 shit coming up. Men looks great.
Yes,
Men
looks great. Everything Everywhere All at Once looks fantastic. There were a couple others that I missed because I was at the concession stand.
But it was great. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
But anyway, for this, right, X. What can I say?
So I guess I'll jump in. I'll jump first. Then you said interesting. You used interesting to describe this movie.
Yes.
And though I agree with you, I think part of the draw is that there's not much to this movie. So like interesting is not the term I would have used. It's pretty by the numbers, but in like the best way possible.
It's very self-aware.
Yeah,
It's very self-aware.
I compare it to The Harder They Fall, where it's like it's just a good popcorn movie. It's like, I mean, there's more to it. Don't get me wrong.
I want to say like
there's more to it.
I don't know if I would call this a popcorn movie, but no. I would say it's almost a popcorn movie for like cinephiles.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's campy horror. So like for the
like Malignant.
yeah
Like
but
Malignant.
where it's like you have to know.
Which actually makes we can't even spoil that yet. We can't even spoil that. That's important. That makes a lot of things important. It makes a lot of things it makes that important. But
Yeah, I compare it to The Harder They Fall, where in a sense where it's like you kind of know what you're getting when you go into the movie.
yes.
You know exactly what you're getting when you go into the movie. That doesn't mean that you're disappointed or anything like that. You like there's just not many like curveballs, I guess. You know. everything kind of happens. Yeah, it's kind of by the numbers. But I just don't want to say that like as a bad thing.
Yeah, because like I guess the best way to say it is though, even though you see what's going to happen in this movie coming, it's still a very satisfying payoff.
Right.
Almost like a Marvel movie kind of thing where are like your general superhero concept, right? You are like battle anime. You know what I mean? You know Goku's gonna get a new power up. You know Iron Man's gonna come back with a new suit at the thing. But it's done in such a satisfying way
where it's more about the build up.
And they respect your intelligence enough. Like they I guess that's what keeps this movie from being stupid. Just like Malignant. Right. Malignant also doesn't ever like basically say like we're getting one over on you.
Right.
Yeah, we're getting one over. That doesn't happen. They're like, okay, yeah, we know what we're doing. The puns at the beginning of the movie.
We know we're doing something
fucking
stupid.
Set that up. Yeah.
Like there's like and this film even further like this movie even further takes that to not a different level. But like it starts in media res to the point where it's like, okay, you know exactly what you're getting into.
Yes.
From jump. Like not even assuming that you've seen trailers, that you understood
but you've seen these movies before,
or like you've seen these movies before, and B, it starts off having all of the events of the movie already happened. So like you know exactly what you're going into when you know.
If you didn't already know from the literal almost caricatures of archetypes from movies, right?
That like are very apparent in all of the media.
Like your dumb blonde, your final girl is basically set up square one.
Your black dude in a horror film.
I think maybe.
Which shout out to Scott Mescudi.
Scott was great in this movie. He was adorable. Is that what I want to say? He was adorable. Like I loved watching him.
He was earnest. He was very earnest and very like honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, he was a porn star you wanted to root for. To be quite honest.
Right.
Like I don't know how you set that up because he does things that are deplorable in this movie.
Right.
Some stuff, but it's like he does it with such innocence and such like, hey, I'm just here to live. This of it. Like
I forgot like who I was either talking to somebody or I was like reading something about this movie going into it, but someone compared it to David, I think it's David Alan Grier's character in Walk Hard. David Alan Grier. What's his? You never bought any drugs.
Oh, his black friend, yes.
You never paid for drugs.
Yes, this dude is like, oh my gosh, he was so. Yeah, the guy that plays if you can't picture him in your head and you don't know the name, the principal from Mean Girls, because everybody's seen Mean Girls.
Yes.
So the principal from Mean Girls, he's in that movie. He is great. He is great in that movie. He's a great comedic actor.
Where it's like his whole purpose is just to be honest. Mm-hmm. Like his whole purpose is just to be like the honest one. Like everyone there kind of seemingly has their like ulterior motives or whatever.
Yeah, like grander ambitions.
Right.
Whereas Kid Cudi's character is just reveling in what he's living in right the fuck now. Yeah. Everybody else wants something else bigger. He's just like, yeah, this is cool. Everything is going on right now. Solid.
Like, I'm just here to fuck bitches and get a check.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally just here to fuck bitches and get a check. Yeah. Like everything else that happens, I'm here for.
Yeah. It's like, hey, whatever going on, if y'all got bigger dreams, cool, but like I'm here to fuck some females. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm here to be an output. You know what I mean?
The casting for this movie was pretty impeccable.
Great.
Also, shout outs to fake Matthew McConaughey. I can't think of his name.
I got you. Because
you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yes, he was mad notable. Fucking. Oh yeah, Martin Henderson. Martin Henderson was great. He played like a great, like almost like a secondary villain.
Yeah.
Of this movie. Like you never rooted for this character.
Because you don't trust him at all, despite the fact that he's essentially like because camp horror, I'm gonna make a lot of comparisons to Scooby-Doo. Mm-hmm. He's essentially the Freddy of this group.
Yeah.
Where he's like the leader, like he's the one that brought us out here. It was his idea to come out here and shoot this movie, so on and so forth.
Even though he doesn't technically take lead when things get to the. Well, we can't spoil, but like, yeah,
he's not a good person. You're not supposed to root for him.
We've been saying a lot of positives to this movie, and I want to say one of the negatives to this movie could be the pacing. right? I want to say the pacing because the movie is really. I mean, it's a good pacing for a lot of what happens, but when it picks up to get fast, it gets way too fast. I think the movie took so much time setting up everything and playing with the actual other tension of this movie.
Right.
Because that one thing I whispered to Alpaca Green about this movie, I was like, this is a very different horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this is like, I mean, there are definitely straight up horror elements with the villains of this movie, but some of the more memorable scenes in this movie were the non-conventional, I guess, like, human tension type sections.
So
you know what I mean?
To piggyback off of the pacing issues, I think that the pacing issues are there, I guess, to set up I can't think of the term. The edit language, the shot language of this film, and the way that because there's a lot of unconventional techniques that are used for the sake of being unsettling.
The editing is really interesting. That's not even a spoiler. Like the like what would you? I don't think there's a technical term for it, but the stutter cuts. Stutter cuts, where they would rapidly cut back and forth between scenes as they were transitioning.
I call them triplets because they always play out in threes.
Triplet cut,
but the same general concept.
Yeah,
same general concept where it takes 3 jump cuts for a scene to transition into the next one.
As if to like really emphasize that like these scenes are connected or there's some juxtaposition being a huge thing. There's a lot of mean girl editing, like bisecting of the screen. But like
there's a lot of callbacks to Requiem for a Dream too.
Yeah, you really can't miss the fucking dichotomy between the two characters in this.
Just setting up this tension,
setting up
this language, like because there's a lot of scenes where you think someone's gonna either die or get hurt. Where like literally nothing happens, only for us to literally smash cut into all of this shit happening at once.
And that's what I'm saying. It very much, you get all those kind of like, okay, like, I guess like fake outs. And then there's a line where things are like, things are going to start happening. Things are going to start happening, and they're going to happen and the attention's going to pay off every single time, more or less.
Yeah, there definitely comes to a point where you're just like, oh, this motherfucker's dead now.
Yeah.
And then the movie happens.
Yeah, very
And then
quickly.
the rest of the movie happens.
It was still an enjoyable experience, but I did notice it. And if it was intentional, then I could maybe see the appeal to make it maybe a little bit more comedic, maybe a little bit more meta. Because the movie, like, it's as meta as it can be before it breaks the wall.
Right.
Also, shout out to one of the to the main actress, Mia Goth. Her look.
Yeah.
They did this person is unique, there's something special about them, really well. Because there was something about her in the movie that did make her stand out from all the other characters, without it being so, like, I guess.
There were also a couple continuity errors that probably were there only to further that, and to further that, like, Morningstar kind of appeal. Because I noticed, like, there was a point in time where she came out of the, spoilers. Yeah.
Oh, she's from Suspiria.
I haven't seen Suspiria.
Okay, Suspiria is great.
Yeah,
and she's from Cure for Wellness. She's okay. So she's
done some things.
She's coming up in the art house scene. She's coming up in the art house scene. She looks like she would come up. To be quite honest, she has the look. And the art house stuff, you remember the French Dispatch, right? The guard character. She kind of has that same
kind
of...
Or the French girl with the helmet. And
that like, kind of European... There are a lot of European actors really coming into the art scene, which I'm super down for. Because we're also seeing a lot of Americans.
Round faces.
Yeah. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm liking that kind of... And this is getting to really, I guess, really, really meta. I am liking that look for actresses currently. That kind of, like, quirky look. They're really trying to emphasize the kind of, like, different faces for their female leads more than your conventionally Hollywood attractive female. They're not really going for that quite a lot. You know what I mean? Like the girls from this movie were actually very appropriate for the time period. They were conventionally beautiful for that time period. very like not trying to.
Still very tropey.
Yeah,
very tropey. But
still
again, that
tropey.
was the point.
Yeah,
that was
still
the
very
point.
tropey. But that's the point. I mean, that was the point though.
Like what was her name? Jenna Ortega. Who's the blonde girl?
The blonde girl, Brittany Snow.
Brittany Snow. Yeah.
Brittany Snow.
Brittany Snow.
Jenny
Who's been in a couple of different things,
yes.
actually.
I think Jenny Ortega was the I whispered over to Patrick Green. I was like, is Jackie from that 70s show really finna get really? Like it was either her or the maid from fucking Knives Out. It was like I was getting one of those two.
Yeah.
I went to her because she was. This is a porno. Also, real fucking talk. We need to stop giving pornos to art house directors. They did it with anti-porno. They did it with this movie. They keep ruining sex. Don't go see a porn movie, a sexy movie from art house film. They're gonna ruin it for you. They're gonna ruin it. Am I wrong? If you took this movie, if you took your date, your fucking input or your output to a fucking movie to like get them in the mood for this is not gonna do this for you.
That's fair. That's fair. I think not giving pornos to art house film directors is a bit too extreme, because we still have blue is the warmest color.
I like it, but
We still have blue is the warmest color. We still have fucking Juno is technically an art house film.
Is that a? I don't know.
It's not a porno.
Yeah.
It's a pregnancy film.
But like I like it. Like I'm saying, okay, needs to like that. I am being slightly hyperbolic because I love anti-porno.
We also have Nymphomaniac.
Yeah, I like them, but they always leave me feeling worse about sex having been in it. Like anti-porno made me feel bad about finding women in movies attractive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This movie made me like.
Nymphomania does kind of make me feel really bad about enjoying sex as much as I do.
There's a particular scene in this movie, like and me and Alpaca Green expressed similar thoughts about it. You were less traumatized by this scene, but truly left me with an empty feeling. And as a sociopath, there are very few films like I've seen Each of the Killer. I've seen people get raped. I can't see people get eaten. I can't see people get castrated.
Nipples sliced off, all
babies'
that
heads get stumped from fucking Human Centipede. This really actually hit me in a core because it was a really down to earth type of horror, and I feel like this is becoming a trademark for A24 because Hereditary does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so does fucking
Midsommar.
And this is something they're really good at, is hitting you in your core, just finding things that you're insecure about and then using them against you.
Yeah, they take horror movie tropes and then subvert those to hit you in the humanity. It's something that's more down to earth and more mundane. That's just legitimately traumatic for an everyday average human. You know, despite the fact that you have these crazy murder sprees happening, monsters, psychedelic, trippy horror, all of that good stuff.
It's not nearly the most traumatic parts.
The most traumatic parts of these movies are often things that could hit you in real life.
Yeah, like where you could find yourself in a situation.
Right.
Which, man.
Though I know exactly what scene JV is talking about.
Do that hold, bro. Like, is there a list? Can you make a list? Like, hold on. Start making a list right now. Because we already got fucking, the dude from Harder Day Falls.
Yeah. We just have the UBAV Ho Club.
Yeah, of people that characters and got hold. This dude top list so far got fucking hold.
Yeah.
He got full
right
hold.
there next to Jim Beckworth from The Harder They Fall.
Jim Beckworth was up there at first too, but nah.
But not as bad as this one.
Yeah.
Nigga got he had no reason.
He didn't deserve any of that.
Let alone for it to be as gruesome as it was.
Emotionally and physically gruesome.
Yeah.
All of that, which is a sequence of bad events for this character. But we talk about enough like spoiler-free shit. We really gotta get into this.
This is the warning, real talk.
So
this is your last and final warning.
Yeah. So like, let's tie this up. So what are your final thoughts? Would you recommend this?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
But you have to be, again, it's one of those where it's like you kind of have to be a specific kind of cinephile in order to really understand this film.
It does have a 72 on Rotten Tomatoes, but a high critic score.
Right.
A high critic score.
So it's like it's one.
So that's still pretty decent though.
Yeah,
for one of these movies.
It's one of those where it's like if you've seen Evil Dead, you've seen this movie. If you've seen Cabin Fever, you've seen this movie. But it's a very fun time, a modern take on it with some brilliant cinematography and some brilliant tension building. The acting is great. The casting is great. The script is campy as fuck and hilarious. The sex scenes are pretty vivid. The gore is insane.
Yes. Oh my god. I can't believe we didn't touch on that, but we'll get into that in the spoilers. The gore in this is fucking...
The gore is ridiculous.
Grindhouse, vengeance, fucking... The night comes for us. Worse than that.
And again, it's super sudden.
Indie
horror. Super sudden.
Indie violence.
Yeah.
If you've seen enough indie movies, indie violence.
Very, very sudden. Very, very frank. It's just like, oh, this is a thing in this universe.
Starts out, yeah. It's like there's a lot of just body horror and violence just casually throughout the movie before things even get
to pick up.
The movie does set you up pretty well. So I would definitely recommend this. There are some parts that might be more that might steer away like your normal audience. Like there are definitely some parts that will steer away your normal audience.
Oh, this is not for the weak stomach.
Yeah,
this is not for the weak stomach.
And I can see some people be like quote unquote triggered by some of this stuff because of just the time period it takes place in. Even though some of the stuff was subverted, because there's no racism in this movie. You would think there would be some,
right?
But it was never approached, and I kind of love that we just didn't have that. Thank you.
I really wanted. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wanted the old dude to call Cuddy a nigger though.
You wanted to? You wanted to?
I expected it, and it was one of those where it's like I'm kind of on the edge of my seat waiting for this to happen. It's like you see an old white dude in the middle of nowhere in like what is presumably rural farm town.
Yeah,
in this time period, holding a shotgun, walking up to a black dude with an afro, and apparently that nigga and apparently since we're in spoiler territory at this point.
Yeah.
By the way, this is your final warning.
Yes.
Your absolutely final warning.
Yeah.
Cuddy's character has fought in wars. Cuddy's character had fought in wars too, and that is something that he and one of the villains shared because they're a couple.
Yes.
So like you see this old white dude, in presumably they said Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
But it looks like a bayou. It looks like New Orleans.
I don't think it was Houston, Texas, because she specifically said the main character. Mia Goth's character specifically said, "I wanted to go to Houston. Why are we here?" So I think they're in just a small town
in Texas. That makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It looks like a bayou though. In like
Maxine
New Orleans
is her name.
It looks like a bayou though in New Orleans. Either way, it's like Southern territory. You see this old rickety white dude with a shotgun walking up to this
and shit.
Right.
Yeah. Get off my land type shit.
Right, and you see this old white dude walking up to you holding a shotgun. This old rickety white dude walking up to a black dude with an afro, looking like a 70s porn film, you know. And you just see that and know the context of their interactions, and you just think, A, you're gonna die a really horrible death.
Yeah.
And B,
or you're gonna die first.
Or A, you're gonna die a horrible death. B, you're gonna die first. C, you're gonna get called a nigga at some point. Really, none of those happened.
I want to say that
really none of those happened, which is a testament to this movie.
That actually makes sense, because one thing we could say about this movie is that we compared this movie to Last Night in Soho, which you also saw, which was mixed. Right, there's some good visuals, some other things that weren't that good.
It was a better directed film than it was a written one.
Yeah, I give it that.
It was way better, like shot and edited.
There are parts of it that I didn't care about, and a lot of the more conventional parts of that movie I just didn't like, other romance elements and all that. I just really didn't care.
Yeah.
About that. I love Black Dude for that movie. One of the best black characters in a movie. you know, he was so nice. But okay.
He kind of feels like a magical black dude, and I don't really fuck with that either. But we.
I mean, he did Captain Sable. He did Captain Sable whole heart. Yeah. But whatever.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
His smile made me feel like he was racist for some reason. I don't know why, because of the big ass, the whatever. Anyway, but.
Mad Pickaninny vibes.
This movie very much clears away a lot of the things that made that movie not as good,
right?
Because it focuses on just this subject.
Right. There was a lot more going into something like Last Night in Soho that clouded the main conflict between characters.
Yes.
Whereas this, again, uses its campiness to its advantage, and in a sense that, like, you know exactly what the fuck.
It uses almost like shorthand.
Yeah,
because
so it's like
you know what
you know what's
it
gonna
is.
happen,
Yes,
and therefore you know context. So it uses that to play on your sense of expectation,
because
it's more pure in that kind of sense.
Because I mean, we're in spoilers anyway. So yeah, the huge whole entire point of this movie is two things. There is the impurity of sex, quote unquote, or whatever, right? And then there's the like the ageism stuff where you age out of the ability to have sex and beauty and have relationships and all that stuff, but you still want that kind of thing, and the horror that comes from that, that. So it starts from the beginning of this.
There's also a lot of like religious over.
And a lot of like that
in this film.
Starting from the beginning for this, we got Maxine, which is Mia Goth's character.
Right.
She's your typical like wants to be a star, wanna be. What's that movie? Showgirls.
Yeah.
Showgirls, all that stuff.
Starry-eyed, cokehead, wants her name in lights.
Yeah.
The whole nine. Everything that you can imagine about this character.
Yeah, even to the point that she's been corrupted by this like smooth talking Texas big hat fucking dude, basically.
Right.
You're left his fucking wife for this girl, apparently.
You're tycoon. Right? You're tycoons. You're you seen Dazed and Confused?
I've never seen Dazed and Confused.
Classic. Yeah, I mean it's a comedy, so it doesn't strike me as something that you'd be like really, really interested in, because it's like an 80s comedy.
Yeah.
But it's like one of Matthew McConaughey's like first roles, and he plays a like he plays what we now know as Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah, because like, I would have compared this character to his character from Wolf of Wall Street.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me more of this character.
Or Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah. But he kind of reminds me more of the from Dazed and Confused, just because like Dazed and Confused is a high school movie. It's like a teen coming of age film. It's like a Brat Pack film.
Yeah, and they feel like all these characters almost feel like college students. Or
Right. Yeah. Whereas Matthew McConaughey is very clearly a grown man preying on these young kids. Yeah, that's his whole gimmick.
And it's very clear. Like their dynamic is very much very clear. The dynamic is very clear. You've seen it before. So
Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused. That's where we were at. Yeah.
So their dynamic is very clear because you've seen this before. You've seen this before, right? You've seen these in movies. Everybody else kind of just easily falls into your tropes. You got your kind of side mean, hot bimbo, highly sexualized blonde girl. And I'm not using that as like derogatory. That's like those are like literally her aspects. She's like no other character besides being that character. Fewer months, like no other depth. Right? No, a lot of characters don't have any. I want to say the character that might have any, not even really, because I was going to say, because you have him and you have the director guy that's actually shooting it, that has kind of like, he's your art house director. He's like, I can add more art to porno. It doesn't have to be just a porn.
Right.
And then his like the sound girl that's like his love interest. Yeah, I guess they're in a relationship. They're married, doesn't say, but they're in a relationship. That's all you need to know.
She calls him his boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or her boyfriend.
Yeah, so they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Right.
And then you have Kid Cudi, who's like basically acts like he's the talent.
The male talent.
The male talent. And then and that's it, right? That's everybody.
Lorraine, who's the blonde girl.
I said her already.
Yeah, so it's Maxine, the starry-eyed starlet, Lorraine, who's the blonde, like, been doing this for a minute, revels in it.
Diva and shit, yeah.
Right. Cudi's character is, like, Jackson, who's, technically, as far as the story is concerned, blonde girl's partner.
Sometimes,
though.
As she says.
Wayne, who's fake Matthew McConaughey leader, your oil tycoon, your stereotypical oil tycoon, the art house film director, his girlfriend, the sound girl, who's also a Christian, but that kind of changes.
That goes out the fucking window if I fucking said it.
Throughout the movie.
We'll get to that.
And then the people that they're renting the location from,
which are like these two grossly old.
They're I can only call them rickety.
Yeah.
I can only call them rickety white people.
Yeah, they're like they're like fucking country stereotypes, almost like what you would see out of the like Leatherface movies, basically.
So take like the famous painting, the American Gothic, which is the family outside of the barn with the pitchfork and shit.
Yeah.
Take that, but like age it 30 years.
Yeah, these are
get these people,
and that plays into a lot of the horror later on.
right?
So they're basically going to shoot a porno at this farm.
In like a Bible Belt small town in Texas.
Because you see a lot of that, because there's a lot of setup in the beginning of it. Like you have them stop at the gas station, pick up cigarettes, and have them and then have that the radio the TV preacher always preaching against like the morality of sex. Like that's throughout the movie. That you get that, and then you have like a lot of stuff is set up in the movie, because you even get the violence set up with them running past the cow that got hit by a truck.
It kind of feels like Lovecraft country in that sense.
Yes, and
where it's like
I was looking for a deeper meaning in that. Like, do you see deeper meaning in the cow being killed? Because they showed the cow. They had the stutter cut between the cows, and then they had the cow that was dead in the road. And I was like, I asked the podcast, like, is there a deeper meaning to this? I feel like there is, but I just couldn't get it at the time. I know if there was like they are cattle, because you had the puns at the beginning anyway. You had the fucking the van, the fucking
the plowing station.
The plowing station, like the plowing service on the van. Then you had the cock.
The
rooster.
The imagery in this movie is very subtle, and all of the roosters were surrounding an homage to the Washington Monument, which is a famously phallic.
Like the puns. Were great.
And the only parallel I can think of is A, pieces of meat, and B, beef getting sent to the slaughterhouse.
And that's what I
Those
thought.
are the only things that I can think of.
I thought maybe they're like, there were cattle going to slaughter, and I was like, what? And I guess with the rest of the movie, that makes a lot of sense, because the movie is very very blunt with its imagery.
Yeah, and there's a lot of references to flesh in more ways than one.
Yes.
There's a lot of references to flesh in more ways than one.
So we can fast forward. They get to the farm. They meet the old couple, and they very much set up the husband to be unhinged, because he immediately pulls a shotgun on the main dude before it kind of resolves, and then they move into the place.
While setting up the woman to be a foil to him, essentially. His wife.
Yeah, because you see her from the window peeking down, looking at Maxine's character. Setting that up very, very early and stuff like that. Yeah. And then he makes it very clear that he doesn't like them. Everybody gets set up really quickly, because you learn about like Kid Cudi being a veteran in that same scene. So everybody's dynamics get set up really quickly in that point.
Actually, the only one who doesn't get set up is the mother.
Yeah.
The only one or the wife. The only one who doesn't get set up is the wife, which makes sense later.
I mean, she gets set up like almost a bit after that, because right after that they get into the first sex scene, which like Kid Cudi, like I said, Kid Cudi is fucking watching Kid Cudi fuck a few.
But she's set up like, just a creepy individual off into the distance until shit picks up.
No, because you have the remember when they're shooting the scene, when shooting the scene, she goes swimming, and you see her in the background watching her with the fucking crocodile scene, because she goes swimming and a fucking crocodile just almost eats her. She doesn't know. Great scene of tension, by the way.
Yeah,
that was great. But you see her in the background, and then she goes from swimming. She goes to drink lemonade with her, and then she flirts with, and then and stuff. Yeah. So she's like, oh, we'll keep this a secret. And then right after that, you even get the first instance of her expressing her want to have sex with her husband. Her husband saying, "I can't do it, my heart, whatever." Right, and then you have all that.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
All that plays out. This movie that part is very rapid. It leads right into the second sex scene, with the actual main character, and then
the old after that is the third sex scene, which smash cuts into the first death.
Yes. So at this point, we can kind of slow down, because those parts, like we fly through the movie, because a lot of it, we kind of the imagery we just discussed earlier, and all the imagery throughout it is really just reinforcing the point. You know what I mean? You're getting like we could recount like okay her interaction with the old lady and the girl, but that's literally just boils down to, oh, I used to be beautiful.
You remind me of me when I was
myself.
your age,
Yeah.
and that's not a good thing.
And
so
it just
you have to die.
Repeat that, because you have several scenes like that. Like you have them singing on the couch, which is beautiful, which is an excellent scene with like the Mean Girl symmetry, where you see her putting together her makeup,
Right.
old, while the young beautiful blonde.
I
girl
love that you
sings.
say Mean Girls symmetry, like, because it reminds me, as much as I love Mean Girls,
Yeah.
instantly the callback is Requiem for a Dream for me.
And I still haven't seen Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mean Girl. But yeah, I watched it in English class. But
You watched Mean Girls in English class?
yeah, my fucking teacher.
That's
had us-
amazing.
Had us watch Mean Girls, and then like really was like, hey, there's some deeper stuff in the movie. I was like, all right, cool. 'Cause, like, I mean,
That's amazing.
And it makes sense.
Mean
We
Girls is
saw-
a fantastic movie.
Yeah, like we saw fucking The Heathers, and there was fucking hellas to that sex to that movie. That movie was great. That was the first movie we ever watched. One day we'll have to watch that. But
Or do like an In the Vault about
Yeah,
it, or
In the
something
Vault
like
or
that.
something
Yeah,
about
because
it.
we that like the very first film that we tried to watch for this channel was Heathers. I mean,
And that
that
movie
episode's
was great.
probably trash, but
that movie was great. It was
That movie's great.
But you get a lot of that stuff repeated basically. So
Right.
some of the standout points, this scene, I want to say is one of the is when the movie picks up and we can get to the parts we talk about, which is the scene where you have the sound girl who's basically been quiet the entire movie. Basically, she's been looking at them. She's been like kind of commenting on like how she kind of disagrees with their lifestyle, asking some certain questions and stuff. Some comfort and stuff
To
like that.
put in context how quiet she is, they call her Church Mouse.
Yeah, they call her church.
They
mouse.
actively call her Church Mouse.
Which goes out the fucking window, because during this conversation, she while the like Maxine and the other and the other blonde girl basically saying how much they love this lifestyle, how free they get. Church Mouse basically says, hey, why do you basically have sex with multiple people instead of just being with your regular person?
And you can kind of tell that Lorraine, Brittany Snow's character, has been priming
Bobby Lynn.
from this.
Bobby Lynn is Brittany Snow's character.
Oh, Bobby Lynn.
Lorraine is Church Mouse.
Okay, thank you. Bobby Lynn, you can kind of tell that Bobby Lynn's been priming for this for a minute. Like the moment she gets to even have a conversation with Church Mouse, you see like a look where it's just like, okay, like either I have to keep an eye on you or like we're gonna have some fun kind of look.
Yes.
You know,
To the point that maybe I think that there was maybe a little bit more subtlety to the relationship. We can probably like add more to it if you give the director like credit because he does have some chops.
to the point where I think the living room scene was a payoff to the gas station scene.
That's what I think. But I think that she was in some ways Bobby Lynn was bringing Lorraine down to her level. You know what I mean? Or bringing her, or at least bringing her to her side, specifically because
Right.
she was so against it that she kind of reveled in. All of them kind of reveled in that,
Right.
because you can see that line get drawn a little bit with her boyfriend, because in this scene, she after she answers and tells them like, oh, it's just sex, it's just movies, the camera changes things, and her boyfriend basically shoots himself in the foot, actually. Sort of, kind of, even though he doesn't deserve the next scene. She basically expresses interest in being in a scene. Like, surprisingly, but not surprisingly, like Netararis, this dude. Like, this dude basically was like saying, I don't want this. And she's like, well, I want this. You know what I mean? And in some ways, us on this channel, this makes me conflicted too during this scene, because like NC porno very much has this same message where women should have the ability to explore sexuality just as much as men do. But and I guess this is
Because
where,
they're people.
Because
Like,
they're people.
Like.
But I guess for me, the horror in this situation, because like I said, we've came from different like this same background is where we're from.
We literally had this argument in the parking lot.
Yeah,
like,
we're like the free,
leaving
but like
film.
free love movement. I'm part of the free love movement before.
But free
getting
love means
married.
different shit to different people.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I think free love, only works if everyone is on board for it and no one's getting hurt. That's the whole point of it.
Right.
Right. Free love is not cheating. Free love is is like exploring yourself
Right. You
without
can
hurting
be.
anybody else.
You can still cheat on your partner in a polyamorous relationship.
Yes.
You can very much still cheat on your partner in a polyamorous relationship. It's all about communication.
And that's where this scene is beautiful because this scene tackles is horrific from several different layers that a lot of men in different states could actually in different relationships and different kinds of level of like confidence levels could feel for, because you see him, and he has to film this actually, which is even more terrifying, because you see him have to film his girlfriend have sex with another man, and she even points out that one reason she's doing it is because his dick is bigger than the main character, than his dick, further emasculating him. Right now, we do argue that he cannot be part of this, but I guess you're arguing his argument is that like art comes first,
and but, and there's multiple elements about that particular scene that are terrifying. Yes, it's like that. The way JV described it particularly does not hit me the same. What does hit me about that scene is the fact that they had this conversation and you still went and did it in my face.
And that was literally her point. He literally, I mean, quote unquote, he did not express his feelings to her straight up, but I feel like he did not say, this makes me feel uncomfortable, but I feel like that was their relationship. Yeah. That was implied enough. That he didn't need to say, I don't want you to do this because we're in a relationship. That should be like fucking a given. But I guess you quote unquote he did shoot himself in the foot.
But you can clearly see that this makes me uncomfortable. Yes. Like if we're talking about modern. Granted, this is supposed to take place in like what looks like the 70s.
Yes.
But if we're talking about modern context and modern complications, like there would have been way more than enough context within that relationship for you to know that like I'm actively, for you to not only know, for you to see on my face that
this is making me uncomfortable. Because he looked horrible.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm very clearly uncomfortable with you doing this.
That was one of the best acted scenes in the fucking movie. Because him behind the camera, even without crying, you could see a man breaking right there. You didn't even see it play out, but that scene, that workup of him was fucking like, that was excellent. And then the shower scene excellent when you see him break down afterwards.
Right.
But
only for him to get in the car and Don't Fear the Reaper starts playing, and it's so, just like,
this is how this nigga gets whole. Because after he takes that double L, sleeping next to the girl right afterwards, which God fucking shit, dude got nettered. And like that makes me, as a person that watches fucking hentai and watches all porn and stuff like that, I've never actually seen it happen to a real person. It really made me, as a person that has fucked other girls, fucked other dudes' girls, really look at my thing. I'm like, damn, that looked fucking painful.
And again, like, I've technically been a homewrecker like once. Mm-hmm. And even then, most niggas in my situation do not consider me a homewrecker. We've talked about this.
I've wrecked niggas.
And even then, I'm poly now. Yeah. Like I'm polyamorous now. So like I am currently in a polyamorous relationship. So it's like that the fact that my girlfriend had sex with another man does not hit me. It's the fact that we discussed how uncomfortable this makes me, and yet you still went and did it, and I had to film it.
And I guess for me, it brings back two memories. It brings back two memories. One, because I've been Kid Cudi. Like I had a situation where a girl had me film sex with her to send to her dude because her dude cheated on her before when I was young.
That sucks.
I know it sucks, right?
That really sucks.
And then I've been on the other side of that.
That's also gangsta, but that really sucks.
Because when you roll in the part of free love movement that I move in is very competitive, right? And you can very much lose your girl to somebody else. You know what I mean? So I have lost a girl.
That's not free love, though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, on this side of thing, that's where you get that people. And I guess that's part of the negatives of free love movie, because people do get hurt, and when they get hurt, they do start to use sex as a weapon because everything's out of the fucking table. You know what I mean?
Again, that's not free love though.
And
there's different schools of it, but like anytime
it definitely goes against it. But I'm saying that is well, I guess one of the negative components when you get that openness of sexuality is that now sex can now be used as a weapon without you have, I guess, the negative stigma of a girl doing that. Usually, if a girl did that to you and she wasn't like part of that movement, she wouldn't want to spread it out to nobody because her reputation. If you run a free love movement, then nobody care who you fucked, except for the nigga that would care about it, right? So, and people around you are going to discuss it because sexuality is been put on the table for everybody to use. So that now can be a weapon. So now instead of a girl being like, oh, I don't want to be with you, but whatever, right, and does it behind closed doors, that said girl may fuck your friend in the same house as you, right? It houses you because y'all just have established that comfort level that like, oh, you can fuck a girl in my house and I don't give no fuck, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, that scene was tough. But like I said, and he got hold, right? Full hold. Because right after that, when he was trying to escape, right? And I wish, to be quite honest, I wish he had left and all the motherfuckers had died. To be quite honest. But no.
That would have made for a much more compelling movie.
He got molested by an old lady.
Then said that he didn't want to be molested by an old lady. And because he said that, he got stabbed in the neck.
Get stabbed.
He got stabbed
and
in the neck.
Came upon.
Yeah.
And she met, like, we don't know what she did after his body was done stuff, but no, she definitely received sexual pleasure from there's like, yeah. All that was.
It's definitely implied that his blood squirting gave her an orgasm.
Yeah.
It's definitely implied.
Beautifully shot scene too.
Yeah.
The blood spray on the fucking lights to set up the red imagery with the soundtrack.
And again, excellent. All set to Don't Fear the Reaper by, wow.
Am I Googling?
Hold on. Blue Oyster Cult.
Blue Oyster Cult, okay.
Right? Check it. Just fact check me. I think it's Blue Oyster Cult. It's not like
Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, okay.
Cult. Yeah. So, but yeah, and then I guess that is the point we're talking about in the non-spoiler section. The point of the movie where the movie just fucking jumps. And as soon as he dies...
And I feel like that's the moment where it's just like, oh, okay, so we're here now.
Because then we said...
The whole movie was very slow and very, like, tension building. But the moment that happens, it was sudden.
Because,
sudden.
If you don't notice... When we were talking about the beginning of this movie, most horror movies have deaths sprinkled throughout the movies, and they'll have like quiet section like that. No, right after he dies, girlfriend wakes up. Wayne wakes up. They go out, split up to go find dude. Died.
Wayne dies.
Wayne dies.
Church mouse gets trapped.
Yeah, steps on a fucking nail, which is great. The fucking him walking on his thing.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable.
That was
so painful.
But like it was a really good payoff because the character, because like that's what I was saying, like how it's satisfying because the character was
untouchable.
Was starting a fucking annoying ass fucking monologue of like, this is what you need to maintain a relationship after convincing the dude to be okay with his girl sleeping with somebody. Right. Because to be quite honest,
for a motherfucker to view himself as untouchable as he was, then to step on a thumbtack essentially,
and that actually makes part of the scene makes sense actually, because you remember when his girlfriend Lorraine woke up, she was scared that she had hurt RJ.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that happened.
Which is hilarious in the grand scheme of
things. But I think that that actually was justified because Wayne didn't have the dude just straight up, because like I said, he didn't straight up just tell her, right? He implied, but he did not sit down and say, hey, don't do this because this makes me uncomfortable, right? Because he stopped him from doing that. He literally said, don't do that, she's gonna do it anyway. But I feel like maybe the movie was trying to say, no, he could have actually spoken up and this could have been avoided because she just really was not aware. Because he did shoot himself in the foot because he literally did say, it's just a camera, it's just a movie, it's not real, right? He expressed that vocally, but he did not vocally express his, like, you shouldn't do this. He just like, don't be in a movie. You're not gonna do it, right? And he basically goaded her into doing it, but basically, challenging
You're
her.
Egging her on.
Yeah, you're egging her on.
And challenging her authority.
Instead of doing it from the angle of,
this makes me uncomfortable.
This makes me uncomfortable. If you care about me, you wouldn't.
Which even still is manipulative as fuck.
That is manipulative, but like,
but it's the specific word choice.
Yes,
it's please don't do this because you make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's not please don't do this because you make me uncomfortable. If you care about me, you wouldn't do this.
No, it was like,
please
you know what I mean?
Don't do this like, because it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, if
you can do with that information as you see.
If we've agreed on this,
right?
Please honor our agreement, right? You have your full freedom to do stuff, but like, hey, this is how this will make me feel.
This is going to affect me.
Yes.
I'm letting you know that now. you can do with that information what you see fit. I can do with your choice as I see fit.
Though that nuance goes out the window at the fucking game when she gets a thing. But anyway, Wayne walks into the thing. We already see he steps on a nail, and then he looks to some fucking, I guess, holes made to stab a nigga with a pitchfork. Because why else would those exist?
I missed that. I was in the bathroom. I missed that.
Okay, so you missed this.
Yeah,
he basically looks into 3 holes that are basically, I guess, made to stab a nigga with a pitchfork, because he looks through him for a while and then he gets stabbed in the fucking face with a pitchfork. That's literally how Wayne dies. And then she buries him.
That's ridiculous.
And then Lorraine goes in the house, talks to the old man.
I'm very glad I didn't see that.
Because, I mean, all these things are people making stupid decisions and are being good people and getting fucked over for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why he would look out there, because, like, why would... It's like the horror movie thing. Everybody wakes up as like, hello, RJ, are you here? I don't know why he was monologuing to the fucking darkness. Why would RJ not say anything? Whatever. Because there's some dumb horror movie shit in there, to be quite honest. Because
there's a lot.
Yeah, because you see, like, the girl that's like... And the guy's like, hey, my wife has dementia. Go in the basement and find the fucking flashlight. Fucking why? Why? He put a shotgun on everybody. He clearly doesn't like you. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do... I don't even know, actually, to be quite honest, I don't even know how they didn't find RJ's body in the first place.
And now that I think about it, like Kid Cudi's character offers to help the old dude find his wife. An old dude who explicitly stated earlier in the movie, I don't like any one of you.
Yes.
I don't like any one of you.
And no one... So, okay.
No one really acknowledges that.
Like, a lot of things are skipped over. And like I said, like, I guess because the movie winks at you enough to let you know that, okay, we're doing this on purpose. Because, like, they go out to look for RJ. No one finds RJ, even though RJ is laying right in front of the fucking van. So no one goes to check to check the van. You know what I mean? Where he could just be, like, where there's 3 buildings and then the forest.
Yeah.
Like, 2 buildings. Well, 3 buildings. And then the farm, the house, and what you call it.
Yeah. There's only really, like, 6 places he could be. There's 3 buildings, there's the dock, there's the forest, and there's the van.
And there's one that you should check first.
Which is the van.
But it never happened. So then, she goes to the basement, she gets locked down, finds a nigga another nigga that I guess, the past nigga that got fucked up in the basement, gets locked in, doesn't matter, right? She buries, whatever, right? Then, like I said, almost like they know what the fuck they're doing, the next set of niggas wakes up. Kid Cudi wakes up, right? Kid Cudi wakes up for no fucking reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally just hears a noise, and matter of fact, he couldn't hear anybody because no one was.
Because
the dude was in the house.
Lorraine, it was RJ got capped.
Yes.
Lorraine woke up because RJ was not in bed.
Yes.
Lorraine went and got Wayne.
Well, Wayne woke up by himself. She went outside and Wayne just woke up because he just heard her going outside. Because he was just in his underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Even though his...
So, but Lorraine asks Wayne to help look for RJ.
Yes.
Gets capped in the process.
Which doesn't somehow wake up Maxine somehow.
Right.
Even though when Kid Cudi wakes up, it does wake up,
Right.
But, yeah, because Kid Cudi just wakes up, like, and he's like, I hear some shit. And then he's like, oh, it's probably nothing.
And then
he still gets up anyway.
And even then, like, the smart thing to do would, to be honest, get up and check it out.
Or stay in pairs.
Right.
And also, and like other thing,
Cudi's character is also a war vet, though. So
and they don't go check on nobody. Like, they don't get together to check on other people.
No.
Right? They don't.
No.
Right? They don't, like, I heard a noise.
The only one that peeks in anybody's room is Maxine, and that's after all of this.
Everybody's already dead.
Yeah, that's after all of this
Kid Cudi wakes up, goes to help the dude, even though it's very obvious that he's lying, because his tone of voice and everything changes completely from beginning to where he's at. Like, oh, my wife, she wanders off into the fucking stuff. I don't know where she's at. Kid Cudi's just like, well, first of all, Kid Cudi walks out with his dick fucking out with the fucking silhouette, which is fucking hilarious.
Facts.
Which is hilarious.
Drake's down to his knees. Definitely a prosthetic, but still really funny.
It's great.
Still really funny. It was great.
And so he goes to help dude, and you think he's gonna get killed by the fucking alligator because he goes to look in the water. He's a war vet, but then he ends up just getting shot in the fucking chest.
Yeah.
Because the guy's just like, hey, you're trying to manipulate my wife.
For as much tension as this movie builds,
even though
every single death is incredibly sudden.
even though his wife is.
I can't think of a death that that wasn't just like, okay, this person's gone now. I can't think of a single death that wasn't literally a smack in the face.
Yeah, because dude just gets. I mean, because you know the dude's gonna get stabbed because her arm is behind her back the whole time, but it still happens like tempo-wise at a weird time.
Yeah, there's no lead up to it. It's just like,
she just
oh, okay.
And then you're stabbed, and now I'm stabbing you. And then the same thing with the eye thing. He looks through there for like an indomitable amount of time, and then he fucking like an indomitable amount of time, and then he just fucking gets stabbed.
Yeah, Lorraine tries to like finds an axe, tries to like shining herself out of the cellar, and then the moment she fucking reaches her hand through it just gets chopped.
Yeah, it just gets fucked up.
It just gets chopped. It just gets chopped.
Yeah.
And then the moment she does escape, she instantly just gets fucking headshotted with a double barrel.
Yeah.
Like.
And I saw some of it coming, but it was still like perfectly timed for the weird the out of nowhereness of it.
None of these deaths had any build up.
No.
None of the only one is probably wifey.
Yes.
Wife's death had a build up.
Okay, so let's get there.
But that's the point. Yeah.
Let's get there. So after Kid Cudi and them die, and then what happens to I forgot the blonde girl, Bobby Lynn. Bobby Lynn's character.
That was a build up. That was a build up. That was a slight build-up.
It was a slight build up, but like, and this is what we mean by
it was more
like
a payoff than anything.
Like, and that's what I mean by the Wu winks at you, because old lady is standing at the dock naked. At this point, you really kind of want to be like, nah, but she's like, okay, I used to be a nurse, so I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna give her my jacket,
right?
And then you know, as much as you know, like the color of your dick, you know. This girl is gonna get pushed into this water and eaten by alligators. So when she walks onto the dock and then purposely walks around her, because the camera backs out and shows you who step around, and like, okay, guys, she'll get pushed, and you're just waiting for it to happen. And then she gets slapped, pushed into the thing, dies. Excellent. Husband walks up. He's like, some shit. I forgot how you says.
He says something about like it's something about the woman being a whore, and then the wife is just like, I hated blondes anyway.
And that's the thing we forgot to mention. The older couple gets more youth as they kill people. They go from being more like crotchety to much more clear vocally, with a lot more sass. Because I was actually surprised by the old lady's voice at that time, because she was like, she actually, if you notice, she had the exact same accent and mannerisms that all the rest of the other female characters from that had.
I mean, but it totally could have been a front. It totally could have been a trap.
What do you mean?
Could have been her voice could have been a trap.
I think so, but
because we also get noticed like throughout this movie that there have been another group of people that have come here and died. That's very strongly hinted at and implied.
I think
so. It totally could have been a trap.
I mean, but like we get it too, because like you remember after this scene, they go back to the house. Maxine finally discovered what before that, we get your traumatic scene, which is her, which is the old lady, disrobing. Because throughout this movie, they've been fucking creeping you the fuck out with sexualizing this old lady. Like I say, if you went to this movie to see it as a porn aspect, they like to ruin the porn, because you get because most of the porn sex scenes between the attractive characters are cut, so you don't really see them much besides maybe some titties, and it's not really like, and it's very very like,
they're cut to be heavily implied but not graphic.
Yeah, like conventionally tasteful sex scene.
Yeah, they're cut to be a hard R-rated movie.
Yes,
but not like a,
Except for with the exception of Maxine's sex scene, where you do get a actual porn angle shot. But it's as soon as you, I guess, if you were getting attracted into it,
angle.
Yeah, if you were getting
softcore cowgirl,
if you were getting into it, they ruin it immediately by interplacing the old lady looking back at you, which would just haunt you for fucking ever. Like, which is forever. Like, you just, the sexualizing of this old lady is fucking haunting, to be quite honest.
Only for the most graphic sex scene in the entire film to be of the old couple.
The old couple. So, like, okay, so, like, we're getting there. So, we get to, like, one of the more traumatic parts of the movie where the old lady disrobes. First time you see her disrobe, and it's just as bad as you think it would be.
Hands are still covered in blood, mind you.
Hell yeah, blood. And she caresses And I guess I think it's implied that she actually like sexually assaults her a bit because she's moaning in her sleep and stuff. Yeah. So that's terrible. That's horrifying. You just don't want to. And then she wakes up and then she discovers everybody's dead.
That was the scene for me. That was just like too much.
Yeah.
Too much. There's something about the vulnerability of being asleep, let alone the soft touch from this killer that was also covered in blood.
And it was all around terrible.
And it also just dragged on for a really long time.
Very intimate.
To the movie.
Very
intimate, very quiet. It's just. Nah, man.
Yeah, it was actually terrible.
It was actually terrible.
Yeah, it used a juxtaposition for evil this time. But I think we're getting some jumbles over here. But then Maxine gets cornered at the house when she realizes everybody is dead, more or less. And then she gets stuck under the bed where the old couple proceeds to rekindle their relationship, because for the old man is basically they can't have sex, he can't do stuff with her, which is her driving force for why she's killing people.
It's basically the scene in Parasite.
Yeah, basically
the scene in Parasite where the family comes home.
But way worse, because you see old people very graphically have sex, and it's ass out and all that, and you just don't want to see it on top of this lady. Why the lady fucking Parasite, because she literally crawls out from under the bed.
Yeah.
And then she makes her way back to the house, frees Lorraine. Which, if you did not like Lorraine as a character because of what she did to her dude, she hops out, instantly gaslights everybody, saying that
that they're the problem, they're the cause for all of this crazy shit. Yeah. I hate you. I don't want to deal with you, despite the fact that you're probably the most coherent person here. I'm not gonna trust you. I'm just gonna run and get the fuck away from me, only for me to end up inching toward the door, which has then been, I think, kicked open and then shot at immediately.
Clotheslined her with a shotgun, basically. And at that point, Maxine's final girl.
Old couple turns the corner too. It was a quick 1-2 punch. It was just like boom.
And then you get the fucking knockout, because as soon as they walk in and they're carrying the body in, the old man has a fucking heart attack because she's still alive.
Yeah.
She's still alive. She jump scares the old man. Old man has a fucking heart attack and dies right there. I'm like, okay, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
truly.
Great. And that's great writing too. That's a great setup. And then great payoff.
Maxine, having gotten the gun out previously in the scene, walks in to shoot the old lady. Has her fucking day in the sun. I'm gonna be a star. Her speech lines up with the preacher, foreshadowing the fucking payoff at the end. It's not spoiling that for that. As she says that, no bullets in the gun, apparently. No bullets in the gun except for one bullet, apparently. Russian roulette for some fucking reason.
No,
because she shoots the old lady.
She doesn't shoot the old lady.
No, she doesn't. No, she does.
The old lady picks up the shotgun.
Yes.
The old lady picks up the shotgun, which was another parallel to the scene where they meet and come into the house and everything.
Because the dude said the gun is never loaded. He's lying, but the Dallas Cowboy says, Mike, I have a gun in the car, but his gun is actually not fucking loaded.
I was more thinking of the scene where the old lady and Maxine are coming in, or not coming into the house, are exiting the house.
Yes.
And they're talking about memories and history and boo, and then they stop at the mirror. And then they stop at the mirror. In the final confrontation, Maxine goes to shoot the old lady, clicks because there's no bullets there. Their gun is loaded, but she shoots the mirror and hits herself. And it ricochets. And hits herself. She's not dead. She dies later.
Yes. All that scene is perfectly set in the movie once again. And I want to say, if you did not believe it, that this movie is self-aware, the preacher going off in the background about God's intervention, about how blessed blessed you are, is perfectly inserted into this scene, right, to let you know how bullshit.
Right.
That is a resolution for the for both of those were just straight up like Deus Ex Machinas.
The whole time,
Yeah.
The preacher, the whole time they're during this movie, the preacher's talking, basically condemning
The main characters.
his congregation for being sex heathens or
Yes.
not being in line with the light of God. Only for the moment that happens, he starts to talk about how but you will be saved and you will find the light, and like you've essentially like come through this triumph.
Yeah.
You know, and made it into the light of God.
Almost like the opposite of the
A lot of religious themes in this movie.
of the Cabin Fever ending.
Yeah.
The Cabin Fever ending has a similar kind of thing where it takes the piss at the end. It's
Yeah.
the same thing, but to kill the main character. But to kill the final character. But yeah, so then she, like any good grindhouse film villain, runs over the lady's head because you know it because she lays in the fucking street. Everybody knows lady lays in the street. You get a car grindhouse film, they'll get their head run over twice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Scalp popped off. Good detail. Dries off, takes cocaine in the end. I guess basically that's more or less the end because she drives off.
Yeah. I mean, it then goes back to
It then goes back to the
in medias res.
res. They find the they find the camera, and then the guy remarks, "What's on this camera?" And he's like, "Oh, because
probably one fucked up porno.
Wait,
Or no, probably one fucked up horror movie.
The horror movie.
And then the literally film ends.
Yeah.
And credits roll.
And then during that, you have the preacher still preaching, and you find out that the preacher.
Well, actually, I'd save that just because it might be important.
What?
We don't know that it's important, but that's a tiny detail that I think we should leave out.
What you think that is that worth it?
I don't know, but the fact that I don't know means that we should probably keep it to ourselves.
Okay, we'll keep it to ourselves.
Yeah,
we keep it to
yeah.
ourselves. But
I don't think it matters that much in the grand scheme of things, but
it's
it
one of
was enough of a reveal that it was just like, oh, okay.
And I want to say it's foreshadowed, but not in movie, but in like a meta way.
It's almost foreshadowed in concepts.
Yeah, in concept, because like the main character, everything she is fits a very established specific stereotype for a movie this religious.
Yeah.
And if you know what we're talking about and you're familiar with religion, there's a specific person in religious stereotypes that this main character kind of represents. We're not gonna say anything else besides that.
Yeah.
But
because it's pretty not ham-fisted, but it's very on the nose.
yes,
It's very on the nose. So any mention with any type of specificity is probably a spoiler in that regard.
Yeah, at that point. But yeah, no, this movie was excellent. I liked it.
Final verdict.
I like this. This is once again, I like this movie. I like this movie definitely. This was once again what I would say part of the experiment. We were once again part of the A24 experiment of the same vein as like Lamb, which we still have this, which you guys still need to see. But I want to say this experiment was a little bit more successful than Lamb. You still got those experimental flaws where like I said, how it feels like it fucking just sprints towards the end for a second. But that may have been intentional. But you'll definitely turn some like more conventional movie goers off with that.
Right.
But like, if you've seen things that are part of the experiment, you've seen French Dispatch, you've seen Lamb,
right.
You kind of have that kind of already set in mind that you're gonna be like, there's gonna be something there. Once you start trying to establish, I guess, emphasize different pillars of the movie making experience, sometimes you have to say, fuck those other parts of the other pillars, because Science Sound does that exact same thing.
It's almost like it's a very traditional by the numbers film, and then you realize, oh, this is by A24, and then shit has to get weird at some point.
Yes,
and then it does.
And I want to say that like it sacrifices on that altar for it to like, I guess, to expand on some of these things and like expand disposition.
Right.
You lose like pacing.
Right.
Like you lose like pacing. You lose
Character.
like character, stuff like that. But like, it's not to the same detriment that you would get from like Tenet, where Tenet tried to reduce things down to the point, and then you kind of like it lost it made the action
lost
scenes.
relatability
It lost
by
a lot
trying
of
to
stuff.
make a pure film.
Yes, but you only get that because like it's still cornily satisfying. It still makes sure to do that, which I like.
It's still a very visceral experience.
Yes,
Like whether you know what's gonna happen or not, whether you've seen any media leading up to this movie, you're still going to feel something when the shit happens, when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
that's still going to be a gut punch.
Yeah, a Malignant with Malignant, but with Hereditary and Midsummer's emotional stuff.
Right. Evil Dead meets Boogie Nights.
Emotional writing.
Evil Dead meets Boogie Nights by A24.
So,
you know?
yeah. So this was great. I mean, and then so like we didn't have much to say after that. So
Real talk.
Yeah. So
just watch it.
This was great. I hope you guys like the new fucking format. You know. On the real.
And don't get me. We will definitely be doing the classic watch-alongs. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
But this is I think you know you guys might like this. That this is a good way to get stuff to you guys quickly when things come out, so you can be like, oh, okay, well, I really wanted to discuss this, but you know, I was watching this, so
Facts.
Hey. But yeah, I think that's all we got to say, right?
Yeah.
You know
I'm chilling. This was a very good like popcorn and experience. Like I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, like popcorn for cinephiles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, but we'll see you guys at the next screening, and hope we got a podcast coming out for you guys soon. Podcast, some other shit coming
a lot of more shit down the line.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. We're catching up. We'll see you guys.
There's no way Kid Cudi's dick is that big.
No fucking way.
There's no fucking way.
I peeped in the fucking boxes. I was like, no, I'm not.
Nah.
For a second, I thought about it. I was like, did they hire Kid Cudi for his acting skills for his dick?
Or for that random guitar playing that wasn't his, but like...
He didn't even hum in this movie.
No.
He didn't hum. What the fuck?